Good morning and welcome back to my channel. It's Saturday the 29th of June today. Would have been my mother-in-law's birthday, bless her. Right, what a week. I've had a week of wasps and washing machines, all the W's this week. Last weekend and leading up to last weekend we kept finding wasps in our kitchen. Always in the sink, on the draining board, the windowsill, or just on the floor in front of the washing machine and the tumble dryer. And the daft thing is, most of them were dead dopey, so they weren't buzzing, so I didn't know they were there. As a blind person, that is really disconcerting, because I was so conscious that I was liable to put my hand or my foot on one. Anyway, got the council to come and take a look at it. £55 later and a few squirts of powder. It's sorted, so it's better to be proactive and deal with things rather than eat over them. That's what I'm learning. The crazy thing is, we live in a bungalow and our loft space is just above our boiler cupboard. The wasps had moved into the loft and were dropping in through the combination boiler. Who'd have expected that? Anyway, problem sorted. And then the next day the washing machine starts to make a funny noise, and I'm thinking that old me would have had another excuse to eat. But £100 later, that's sorted as well. So it's been that kind of a week this week. The car needed servicing and MOTing and different things, and I don't know, you do have some of those weeks, don't you, when it's just costly, but all sorted. Been to group this morning, and actually we had a standing consultant again because Naomi's away in the States, but it was a really, really good meeting, and it was just where I needed to be this morning. Now I woke up thinking the easy thing to do would be to stay at home because I know I'm facing another game, all because of my own choices. And the insanity is, in my heart I want to do it, in my head I think I don't have to. It's almost like I've been at Target for such a long time that I think I don't need to do this anymore. And what I know, logically, is that I'm going to have to do this for the rest of my life if I want to stay at the sort of weight I want to be. But I just had that mental attitude this week again. And I'm standing here in front of you with a sizable gain, and I deserve every gram of it. £6 on, which has taken me to 9 stone 13 and a half. So in the 8 weeks that Joe's been laid up with his bad hip and everything, and I was fearful of gaining weight because I thought my life's going to be a bit different. I've actually gained a stone in weight, and it's just crept on. And waking up this morning, I thought something's got to change and it's got to be me. So go face the scales, get the result for the day, and get back on track. One of the things that the consultant said in group this morning, we're looking out the window, and our meeting's in a rugby club. So outside the window is a big field where they play cricket in the summer, rugby in the winter. And she said, imagine the other side of that field, there's a big bag and it's got £1 million in it. But between you and that bag, there are a lot of obstacles and different choices you're going to have to make to get to that bag. Who wouldn't put the effort in? Well, think of that as in that bag is your goal weight, your target weight. Are you prepared to overcome those obstacles and get to that place? Well, I was, and I did. But I'm obviously not prepared to do enough to stay there. And I honestly don't know where it's gone. It's almost like something's clicked a switch in my head, and I've gone from being the Jane who was loving being on Slimming World to being the Jane who is loving to eat cake and chocolate and ice cream and totally like immerse herself in sugar again, and I'm paying the price. Strangely, I'm not standing here feeling like a failure. I've actually found something this morning in that group which made me feel like I belonged, and that was I have weight to lose, just the same as everybody else or most of the other people in that room. I have weight to lose. That's why we go there every week. So I've come away feeling really motivated to just be a Slimming World member and follow the plan. And in a lot of ways it's taken off the pressure of being a Target member. Much as I enjoyed being a Target member, it is a totally different world to being a member who wants to lose weight. And I think other Target members would agree with me. You are in a very different place when you're at Target. Now, of course it's my aim to get back to being a Target member, but it's not a race. It's a marathon, and I'm going to do it, but I'm not going to put pressure on myself to do it. So when the young lady said, how much do you want to lose this week? And people were saying £3, £4, £5, whatever. I just said a loss. I just want a loss on those scales next week. And in a lot of ways that has helped me take the pressure off, because I'm a great one for putting pressure on myself, unnecessary pressure on myself. And I know that I don't perform at my best when I am under pressure. Now, something I chose to do at group this morning was to actually have a fresh start in different clothes. Over the years, I've been paranoid about wearing the same clothes every week, wearing the lightest trousers, wearing the lightest underwear, wearing the lightest top. And I thought to myself this morning, sod it. It doesn't matter if I go to group in a different outfit every week. It's not going to make that big a difference. I don't need to be paranoid about what I'm wearing, paranoid about whether I've been for a poo before I go to group, paranoid about not having a drink before I go to group because I might weigh heavier. I need to lighten up. So this morning I've been to group in, let me see, denim shorts and a top. Not my usual really lightweight trousers and a top. I don't need to take it to the nth degree that what my trousers matter weighs. What my trousers weigh matters. I need to be in a place where what I eat and drink matters, and stop putting the, like, before, if I'd gone to group in something that weighed differently, I'd have been thinking, oh, if I've had a £0.5 gain this week, I can blame it on my trousers. No, I need to be taking responsibility back for what I'm eating. So, got one or two headings I just want to touch on, and I think Joe's got those written down. Have you, Joe?
Yeah, feeding the dog.
Feeding the dog. I've read 3 Michael Connelly books this week in the Harry Bosch series. I love crime books. And the first of those books was called Echo Park, and in it there are 2 characters. Now, Harry Bosch is the main character, he's a detective, and then the other character in the book was a criminal, a murderer, serial killer. Both of these men had very similar upbringings, as in they were both orphaned at a young age. They both ended up in the system, being housed by the local authority, put in children's homes, and at 20 years apart, they both ended up in the same children's home, which was very, very tough. But the guy who's a serial killer, when they're talking, says to Harry, the difference is you fed the right dog. You chose to feed the good dog to go on to be a good person and become a policeman. I chose to feed the bad dog, went on to be a bad person, became a serial killer. That spoke volumes to me, because I was thinking about ages ago, I made a video about 2 wolves, where I believe we each of us have 2 powers inside us. One of them is the good wolf and one of them is the not so good or the bad wolf. And I related this to the way I eat, and I can either feed that good wolf with good food and feel good about myself, or I can feed that bad wolf with wrong food, like I've been doing this week again, and feel crap about myself. And it's all down to choice power. So actually reading that book this week and reminding myself of one of my old videos has given me pause for thought. And it is about whether I choose to feed the good wolf or the good dog, or whether I choose to feed the bad wolf or the bad dog. Now this week my food's been fine, except I decided in a moment of mental whatever that I could eat couscous. And of course couscous is pasta, and of course pasta does not suit me, it never has. I can pile weight on eating pasta because I go back for a second portion. Yesterday for lunch I made myself a couscous salad with beetroot and stuff in it. And what did I do? I ate it, I enjoyed it. I went back and made another bowl of just plain couscous and put salt and black pepper on it and ate that as well. That's what pasta does to me. It makes me hungry. And honest to God, I could eat, well, a dustbin full, and I would not be satisfied. After I'd eaten all of that couscous, I'm sitting there thinking, why am I so hungry? I know these things don't suit me. I've got to stop falling back on old bad habits. I'm a compulsive person, and I can be just as compulsive around couscous as I can be around chocolate or crisps or biscuits or cake or ice cream. So yeah, I need to practice this week feeding the right dog. Next, Jen?
Turning off the pressure and removing all goals. You kind of
Turning off the pressure and removing the goals. The other thing I wanted to add to that was, as I've just said, I don't work well under pressure, but I put that pressure on myself. But I start to look at like forecasting into the future, and I was thinking to myself when I was lying in bed this morning, it's 10 weeks today to my birthday. That'll be a weekend off plan because I've got some stuff planned. Then I thought to myself, 18 weeks to SlimCon, 26 weeks to Christmas. There's always going to be an event or a happening. And if I focus on that rather than on just living in today, then I pile the pressure on myself. And when I put any forward pressure on myself, I just lose it. I totally lose it. So I want to be back to taking that pressure off and literally just going back to eating my 3 meals a day, my fruit, my healthy extras, whatever. But focusing more on the free food and not having to, I suppose there's a mentality in me that says I'm allowed 15 sins a day, so I'm going to bloody well have them. And I was having 15 sins a day and it was fine. But for today, I think I need to focus back on looking at the plan, 2 A's, 1 B, 5 to 15 sins, and it doesn't matter if I have 5. I don't have to prove to myself that I can have 15 and get away with it. So, yeah, that's where I'm at today with that. Next, Jen?
Enough. It is time to take back the power.
I've always been a great believer in that the only power that exists in my life is powers I choose and powers I practice. And I actually got to the stage last night, because what I've been doing is being fine during the day, not eating if I wasn't hungry, being reasonably satisfied by my 3 meals, but being a bit careless about what I was eating, not focusing solely on the foods I love. But then getting to the evenings, not necessarily being hungry, but feeling dissatisfied and wanting something else. Now last night, Joe had calls in the evening. He needed to go down to Asda to pick some stuff up. And I texted him a list. Bring me this, bring me this. I'm not going to list the stuff, you don't need to hear it because it's triggers to a lot of people. Bring me this, bring me this, bring me this. And ate the lot. On the night before weigh-in. God knows how many thousands of calories. And the stupid thing about doing it was totally compulsive. It didn't satisfy me. I wasn't hungry when I started, but I felt like by the time I got to the end of it that I could have just carried on. So I need to take back the power. I need to practice saying no to myself again. I think my friends are noticing the difference in me, because when I'm out with friends, the tendency to eat and drink things that I wouldn't have done at one time, I would have just said no thanks, don't need it, don't want it, whatever. This week I found myself out with a friend yesterday planning meals next week. Let's go out and do this. I'll come to your house for dinner, you're going to bake that. And she was sharing a beautiful recipe of things like blueberry muffins, because my friend and her daughter are fabulous bakers. And I'm thinking about, how many muffins could I get away with? That's insanity. So I'm taking back the power. I'm going to contact my friend and I'm going to say, much as a lot of that stuff were lovely ideas, I'm not up for it now. I'm not up for it this week. I need to get back on track. Was there another one?
No, that's it for headings.
Yeah. So, bottom line for me is, nobody can do this for me. I'm the only person who can do it for myself. I can either accept that my weight is going to continue going up because I'm making poor choices, or I can get back on track and reap the rewards. I don't want to keep piling on the weight. I went shopping yesterday with my friend and there's some incredible sales on at the moment, and we were in Whistles, and I bought this top that I'm wearing, which is the same as the pink one that I gave away in a pricing I did a few weeks ago. And then I went into white stuff, and the blue top I bought a fortnight ago. I got a mustard one because it was reduced from £35 to £12, which is a bargain. And I could have gone on and on and on and bought loads more clothes, and I thought, why are you doing this? You've got a wardrobe full of clothes that, unless you change your habits, they're not going to fit you in a month's time. You know? Standing here in front of you, a stone heavier than I was at the end of April, doesn't feel good. It really does not feel good, because I can feel where every gram of that weight has gone on. You know, and I was talking to my friend yesterday, and she said, you know, we were in the changing rooms with trying clothes on. She said, you don't look any different. I thought, I wish I didn't bloody feel any different, because I feel like half a house. And I never thought that I would be half a pound under 10 stone in saying that. But when you're coming back up, you certainly notice it a lot more than when you're on the way down. So that's me this week, that's me being honest. I am going to be on plan for 7 days. I've made that commitment in group this morning. It was a fabulous group meeting this morning. There's a lot of love and support in my group. I've made that commitment this week. I am going to be on track, because if I go to group next Saturday and I've topped 10 stone, that frightens me. That really frightens me. Because I could get to the stage on this journey that I'm creeping up and up and up and up and up, and I lose hope. I don't want to be in that place. I don't want to lose hope. So there you are. That's me standing in front of you and being totally honest. It's an absolutely glorious day out there. In fact, it's too flipping hot at the moment. I've had to shut the blinds to shut the sun out. But hopefully we will get out for a walk later when it cools down. I need to get moving, but more than that, I need to get eating properly. Because that's the answer for me. Exercise is irrelevant as far as my weight's concerned. I've walked miles this week and I've still gained 6 pounds. So I cannot stuff my face and then expect to walk it off. It just doesn't work for me. I'll be back next week. I'll be honest again, and I'll tell you what I've done and the results I've got. But my plan is to stay on plan, because it works if I work it. This week I didn't work it, I worked it 50% and I got a 6 pound gain. God, just imagine if I didn't work it at all, what could I put on in a week? I know a lot of people can go on holiday and gain 6 pounds and they come back and they've had a fabulous fortnight in Jamaica or something like that. But I haven't been on holiday. I have no excuses. It's all because of what I've chosen to eat in the evenings. And if I slipped into doing that during the afternoon or during the morning as well, I would be in a very serious place. That's not for me. So, if I'm totally honest, I'm standing here, my head wants to do it. There's still a voice inside me that goes, start tomorrow. But I'm not going to, I'm going to start today. So, cheers everybody, we'll see you next week. And again, remember, it works if you work it, it won't if you don't. Bye.